I never thought my husband's junior sister was his secret wife. People say money protects you, but money can also blind you. It blinded me until the day I found out the woman I called family was sharing my husband's bed. My name is Catherine, but everyone calls me Kat. I'm 34 years old, and I'm speaking to you from Seattle, Washington, on what should have been the happiest week of my life. Instead, I'm sitting in a hotel room I can barely afford, with nothing but 2 suitcases and a truth that shattered everything. I thought I knew. Where are you watching this from? What time is it where you are? Drop a comment below. I need to know I'm not alone in this. And listen, before I tell you this story that's been eating me alive for 3 weeks now, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's get this channel to 10,000 subscribers before the end of this month. Because if my pain can help even one woman see the truth before it destroys her, then maybe this nightmare will mean something. Now let me take you back to when I thought I had it all. I met Derek Whitman 7 years ago at a charity gala in downtown Seattle. I was 27, working as a receptionist at a dental office, making $32,000 a year and sharing a cramped apartment with 2 roommates who never washed their dishes. I wore a borrowed dress that night, a big simple black number my cousin let me use because I couldn't afford anything nice enough for that kind of event. Derek was 35, tall, confident, wearing a suit that probably cost more than 3 months of my rent. He owned a commercial real estate development company, and when he smiled at me across that ballroom, I felt like Cinderella seeing her prince. "You look lost," he said, handing me a glass of champagne. "I am," I admitted. "I don't belong here." "Neither do I," he laughed. "I'm just better at pretending." We talked for 3 hours. He told me about growing up poor in Portland, about working construction jobs at 16 to help his single mother pay bills, about building his company from nothing. He made me feel seen, important, like my struggles mattered. 6 months later, we were engaged. 1 year after that, I was Mrs. Catherine Whitman, living in a 4-bedroom house in Magnolia with a view of Puget, sound that made my old roommates weep with envy. I quit my job. Derek insisted. "Why would my wife work in some dentist's office when I make enough for both of us?" he said, kissing my forehead. "You deserve to relax, Kat. Enjoy life. Be happy." And I was happy. God, I was so happy. I decorated our home, took cooking classes, joined a book club with other wealthy wives who talked about their personal trainers and vacation homes in Cabo. I felt like I'd finally escaped the life of struggle. I'd known since childhood the life of checking bank accounts before buying groceries, of saying no to girls' nights because I couldn't afford the restaurant. Derek gave me everything. A credit card with no limit, a Mercedes SUV, jewelry that sparkled like promises. But he also gave me something else. Something I didn't realize was a cage until it was too late. He gave me dependency. "Don't worry about money. Babe," he'd say whenever I asked about our finances. "That's my job. Your job is to be beautiful and happy." So I stopped asking. I stopped checking. I stopped knowing. And that's exactly what he wanted. 2 years into our marriage, Derek's little sister moved to Seattle. Her name was Maya Chen. She was 28, petite, with long black hair and this quiet, delicate way of moving through the world that made everyone want to protect her. "She's had a rough time," Derek explained when he first told me she was coming. "Bad breakup back in Portland. She needs family right now." "Of course," I said immediately. "She can stay with us as long as she needs." I was excited, actually. I'd always wanted a sister. I was an only child, and the idea of having Derek's sibling in our home felt like gaining the family I'd never had. Maya moved into our guest room on a rainy Thursday in October. She arrived with only 2 suitcases and eyes that looked like they'd cried for months. "Thank you so much, Catherine," she whispered, hugging me at the door. She smelled like jasmine and something sweet I couldn't place. "I don't know what I would have done without you and Derek." "We're family," I said, squeezing her tight. "You're safe here." For the first few months, everything seemed normal. Maya was quiet, polite, almost invisible. She got a job at a coffee shop downtown and insisted on paying Derek $500 a month for rent, even though he told her it wasn't necessary. "I don't want to be a burden," she said softly. She cooked dinner with me. We watched reality TV shows together while Derek worked late. She taught me how to make dumplings from scratch, her small hands moving expertly as she folded the dough. "Derek loves these," she said one evening, her voice casual. "Too casual," I used to make them for him all the time when we were younger. I didn't think anything of it then. She was his sister. Of course she knew what he liked. I was so stupid. The first crack appeared 6 months after Maya moved in. I was looking for my phone charger and checked. Derek's car, sometimes I left it there after errands. When I opened the center console, I found a receipt from a jewelry store. Tiffany & Co. 1 diamond tennis bracelet. $12,000. My heart leaped. Our anniversary was coming up in 3 weeks. Derek must have been planning a surprise. But our anniversary came and went. He took me to dinner at Canlis, gave me a beautiful speech about how much he loved me, but no bracelet. No jewelry at all. Just a weekend trip to Vancouver that we never ended up taking because work got crazy. I didn't mention the receipt. I thought maybe he was saving it for Christmas. But 2 weeks later I saw it. The bracelet, on Maya's wrist. We were having brunch at home, just the 3 of us on a lazy Sunday. Maya was pouring orange juice, and the sunlight caught the diamonds, sending little rainbows across the kitchen wall. "Oh my God, Maya, that's gorgeous," I said, reaching for her hand. "Where did you get it?" She pulled back slightly, her cheeks flushing pink. "Oh, I saved up. Treated myself after my promotion at the coffee shop." "A coffee shop promotion buying a $12,000 bracelet?" My stomach twisted, but I smiled. "You deserve it." Derek said nothing. He just kept eating his eggs, eyes on his phone. That night I asked him about it. "Derek, did you buy Maya that bracelet?" He looked up from his laptop, annoyed. "What?" "The tennis bracelet she's wearing." "Did you buy it for her?" "Kat, come on." He sighed like I was being ridiculous. "She's my little sister. She's been through hell. I wanted to do something nice for her." "Is that a crime?" "No, but—" "12,000? It's my money, isn't it?" His voice hardened. "I work my ass off and I can't buy my sister a gift? That's not what I—" "Drop it, Catherine." I dropped it, but something had shifted. Some instinct in my gut started whispering things I didn't want to hear. After that, I started noticing things, small things, things I'd missed before because I trusted too much. The way Derek's hand would linger on Maya's shoulder when he passed her in the kitchen. The way Maya laughed at his jokes, not like a sister, but like a woman who wanted to be noticed. The way they'd exchange glances across the dinner table, quick and private, like they had secrets I wasn't part of. One night, I woke up at 2 a.m. and Derek wasn't in bed. I went downstairs for water and heard voices in the living room, soft, intimate. I stopped in the hallway, hidden by shadows. "Can't keep doing this," Maya was saying. "It's too hard." "I know, baby. I know." Derek's voice, tender, the way he used to talk to me. "Just a little longer. She's going to find out." "She won't? Kat doesn't pay attention to anything." My blood turned to ice. I stood there, frozen, as Derek said something else I couldn't hear. And then, silence. I peeked around the corner. They were kissing. Not a sibling kiss, not a comforting kiss. A lover's kiss. Derek's hands were in Maya's hair. Her body was pressed against his. They were kissing like they'd done it 1,000 times before. I must have made a sound, a gasp, a sob, something, because they broke apart. Maya's eyes met mine across the room, and she smiled. Not a guilty smile, not an apologetic smile, a victorious smile. "Kat," Derek said, his voice calm. Too calm. "Let's talk." I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process what my eyes had just seen. Derek and Maya, kissing, in my living room, in my house. "Kat, sit down," Derek said, his voice still unnervingly steady, like he'd been rehearsing this moment. "Don't tell me to sit down." My voice cracked. "What the hell is happening? She's your sister." Maya stood up slowly, smoothing her silk pajama top, pajamas I'd given her for Christmas. "Catherine, there's something you need to know." "I don't want to hear anything from you," I screamed, tears streaming down my face. "You've been living in my house, eating my food, pretending to be my friend." "She's not my sister," Derek interrupted. The words hung in the air like poison. "What?" "Maya isn't my sister. She never was." My legs gave out. I stumbled backward until I hit the wall, sliding down to the floor. "You're lying." "I'm not." Derek sat on the couch, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees like we were having a casual conversation. "Maya and I met 10 years ago in Portland. We dated for 3 years before I moved to Seattle for business. We were going to get married," Maya added softly, sitting beside him. Right beside him, where I should be sitting. But Derek's company was just starting. He needed capital, investors, respectability. I needed a wife who looked the part, Derek said, looking at me with something like pity. Someone from the community I was trying to break into, someone like you. Like me, I repeated numbly. You were perfect, Kat, sweet, naive, from a struggling background, so you were grateful for everything. You asked no questions about money because you were just happy to have it. Every word was a knife. So you've been lying to me for 7 years? She's not your sister? You've been, I couldn't say it, couldn't make the words real. Having an affair? Maya finished for me, tilting her head. Catherine, it's not an affair when he was mine first. You're the affair. I was going to be sick. Why, I whispered. Why marry me at all? Why bring her here? Because I needed a wife for business, Derek said simply. But I love Maya. I've always loved Maya. She's the one I actually want. Then why didn't you just marry her? Because she's Asian American, and I needed someone who fit the image my investors expected. Someone white, blonde, from the local community. Seattle's tech investors are old money. They care about that shit. Even if they won't say it out loud. He said it so casually. Like he was explaining a business strategy, like I was a transaction that hadn't panned out. And now? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Now my company's worth $50 million. Now I don't need you anymore. Maya reached over and took Derek's hand. Their fingers intertwined like they'd done it 1,000,000 times before. We're going to be together, Catherine. The way we should have been all along. So what am I? I asked, my voice hollow. What was the point of any of this? You were useful, Derek said with a shrug. And honestly, you were easy. You never questioned anything. Never looked at bank statements. Never wondered why Maya and I took so many sibling trips together. Sibling trips, oh God. The Portland weekends, the San Francisco conferences, the 3-day trip to Vancouver last summer when Derek said he was taking Maya to visit their sick aunt. It was all lies, all of it. I want a divorce, I said, my voice shaking but firm, already drawn up. Derek reached behind the couch and pulled out a folder. A folder, like he'd been waiting for this moment. Sign these papers and you can leave tomorrow. I opened the folder with trembling hands. Divorce agreement, division of assets. And then I saw it. 0? I looked up at him. I get 0? The prenup, Kat, remember? You signed it before the wedding. I did remember. Barely. Derek had taken me to his lawyer's office 2 days before our wedding, handed me papers, told me it was just a formality that all wealthy people do, and I'd signed because I trusted him. You get nothing, he continued. The house is in my name. The cars are in my name. Your credit cards are connected to my accounts. As of tomorrow, they'll be canceled. But I have nothing. No job, no money, no... You should have thought about that before you stopped working. Maya said sweetly. That was your choice. You manipulative... Careful, Derek warned. You're still in my house. I was shaking so hard I thought I might pass out. 7 years. 7 years of my life, and I was going to walk away with nothing. Sign the papers, Kat. Make this easy. I looked at the document in my hands, at the man I'd loved, at the woman I'd welcomed into my home, and I made a decision. No. Derek's jaw tightened. Excuse me? I said no. I'm not signing anything tonight. I'm going to get a lawyer. With what money? Maya laughed. She was right. I had nothing. No savings, no income. No family with money to help me. But I had something they didn't expect. I had rage. The next morning, I packed a bag and left. Derek didn't try to stop me. Maya watched from the kitchen window, sipping coffee from my favorite mug. I went to my old roommate Jenny's apartment. She let me crash on her couch and loaned me $500 for a consultation with a lawyer. Kat, I'm sorry, the lawyer said after reviewing my prenup. This is airtight, unless you can prove fraud, infidelity, or that you were coerced into signing. You're walking away with nothing. What about the fact that he lied about Maya being his sister? That he's been cheating on me the entire marriage? Infidelity can affect asset division, but only if the prenup doesn't already waive that right. Yours does. He covered his bases. I left that office feeling defeated, destroyed. But then walking back to Jenny's apartment, I remembered something. The flash drive. 3 years ago, Derek had asked me to organize his home office. I'd found a flash drive labeled Business, Portland 2015 in a drawer and moved it to his desk. I never looked at it, but I knew where he kept it. That night, while Derek and Maya were at some investor dinner, I used my key to get back into the house. My hands shook as I crept upstairs to his office. The flash drive was exactly where I'd left it. I grabbed it and ran. Back at Jenny's apartment, I plugged it into her laptop. And what I found changed everything. Photos, videos, documents, photos of Derek and Maya together dating back 12 years. Not 10, 12. Which meant they were together when he first met me. Videos of them in bed, in hotel rooms, in my house, in my bed, while I was visiting my sick mother in California last year. And documents, bank statements showing Derek had been funneling money into offshore accounts for 5 years. Money that should have been marital assets. Money he'd hidden from me and from his business partners. Tax fraud, embezzlement, wire fraud. And text messages, thousands of them, between Derek and Maya, planning everything. How they'd use me. How they'd stage the breakup story to explain Maya moving in. How they'd get rid of me once Derek's company went public. She's so pathetic she'll probably just disappear, Maya had written. No friends, no family, nowhere to go. She'll sign anything. I sat there staring at the screen until Jenny came home. What's wrong? She asked. You look like you've seen a ghost. I've seen the devil, I said. And now I'm going to destroy him. I made copies of everything, cloud backups, multiple flash drives. I sent copies to my lawyer. Then I did something Derek would never expect. I called the FBI. Turns out wire fraud and tax evasion are federal crimes. The FBI agent I spoke to was very interested in the documents I had. Ma'am, do you understand what you're giving us? He asked during our meeting. Yes, I'm giving you enough to put my husband in prison. And his girlfriend? She was complicit, she knew. The texts prove it. This will destroy his company, his reputation, everything. Good. It took 3 months. 3 months of living on Jenny's couch, eating ramen, working a cashier job at Target to survive. 3 months of watching Derek and Maya post photos on social media, flaunting their relationship now that I was gone. Photos of them at fancy restaurants. Photos of them house hunting for an even bigger place. Moving on to bigger and better things. Maya's caption read, with a heart emoji next to Derek's face. But then, on a Tuesday morning in March, federal agents showed up at Derek's office with arrest warrants. Tax evasion, wire fraud, embezzlement. The story hit the local news within hours. Prominent Seattle developer arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. His investors pulled out immediately. His company collapsed within a week. And Maya? Once the money was gone, so was she. She deleted all her social media, changed her number, and disappeared back to Portland before Derek even made bail. Derek called me from jail. You destroyed me, he said, his voice hollow. No, I replied. I just stopped letting you destroy me. I'll fight this. I'll beat this. With what lawyer? You're broke, Derek. All your assets are frozen. And that prenup you loved so much? It's void now because the marriage was based on fraud. My lawyer's already filed a motion. Silence. You know what the worst part is? I continued. I would have loved you forever. I would have given you everything. But you thought I was too stupid to fight back. Cat, don't call me again. I hung up. Derek was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. Maya was never charged. Not enough evidence of her direct involvement in the financial crimes, but her name was all over. The news as his accomplice in the affair. She lost her job, her reputation, everything. Last I heard, she's back in Portland working at a call center, living with her parents. As for me, the prenup was voided. I got half of Derek's remaining assets, which wasn't much after legal fees and restitution, but it was enough. $300,000. I used it to go back to school, got my degree in accounting, started my own bookkeeping business for small companies. I help women now, women who don't understand finances, who've let men control everything, who need someone to teach them how to read a bank statement and protect themselves. I'm not rich. I live in a small apartment. I drive a used Honda. But I'm free, and I'm never ever giving someone else control of my life again. If you're watching this and you don't have access to your own bank accounts, if you don't know what your partner makes or where the money goes, if you've given up everything to depend on someone else, wake up. You don't need permission to see financial statements in your marriage. You don't need permission to have your own money. You don't need permission to protect yourself. Learn the numbers. Know where you stand. And never ever let anyone convince you that loving them means trusting them blindly. Comment below if you've ever felt trapped by money. Comment if you've ever trusted the wrong person. And subscribe so we can hit 10,000 before this month ends. My name is Catherine, and I'm the woman who chose freedom over fear.